I'm Jack Watson, and I will be your host for today's Typography Challenge, Illustrator Typography Challenge. Before we get started, be sure to check the description of this video down below me. We've got a ton of great links for you, including a link to download your free resources to create along with me today. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to be working on an album cover. Those of you who have seen my personal streams here on Behance know that I have done a ton of these. So once you get your Illustrator file open here, this is what it's going to look like. If your workspace looks a little bit different or you're not seeing what I'm seeing, you can go up here under Window, Workspace, and you can either choose Essentials Classic or Reset Essentials Classic. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to open up this window so we can get a better view of our panels. That's going to help us work on creating this. So I am going to start by clicking on a rectangle over here, and we're just going to draw out a rectangle over our artboard. Our artboard is kind of like our canvas. Anything that's on our artboard is going to be exported once we save our file. So you're going to notice right away that I've got these little pink indicators. If you're not seeing those are smart guides. You can go up here to view and make sure they're checked on under here. That's just going to help us today make sure that everything stays lined up and is looking good, and it just helps you keep things centered kind of on your artboard. So I'm just going to click once I see that pink indicator there, and I am going to drag across my artboard, and we are going to fill it with a rectangle. Now we're not going to see anything at first, since if we go over here and look, we've got white as our fill color, but we can switch between fill and stroke over here by either tapping on the little icons, and whichever one is forward is going to be the one that you have selected and active. We can also hit X, and that's going to switch between them as well. So once we've got our fill selected, I'm going to double click here, and this is our color picker, and this is where we can change our color to whatever color we want in the whole rainbow. I'm a little bit partial to purple, so I'm going to go ahead and pick like a nice dark color, just like that. Alright, now that we've got our rectangle there for our background, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit the Type tool. We want to make sure that we've got our album cover and our artist name on our album art today, so I'm going to just click anywhere and it's going to throw some placeholder text down. It's a little bit hard to see, but it just says Lorem Ipsum. We can change the size of our text by going up to, zooming out. There we go. We can change the size of our text here by either increasing or decreasing the numbers on here, and that's going to make them smaller or larger. Or we can just use the selection tool here, grab the corner, and holding down Shift is going to let me constrain it so that it scales proportional. If you don't hold down Shift when you drag that corner, it's going to do some funky stuff with your text. Now you might want that, but you know, if you don't and you want to keep your text nice and legible, you just hold down that Shift key and it's going to let you scale it just like that. Now, you're going to notice when I drag over top here that like this is probably not going to work. It's a little bit hard to read, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the fill color here, and I'm going to copy my hex value by hitting Command C. I'm going to hit OK, and now I'm going to go over to one of the resource links I have for you over here. It's going to be color.adobe.com. That's where we're going to start. And I can go in here, and you guys have, if you haven't seen Adobe Color before, you can build color palettes using this tool. You can choose different color harmony rules over here, complementary, split complementary, etc. And in this case, I'm not going to look at this, even though you could totally pick a color palette using this tool, but I'm going to go over to the accessibility tools over here, and I'm going to put in my background color. And I'm going to say, okay. And I'm actually going to pick our current color is kind of like black, right? That's our current text color, right? But you can see over here, it's giving me some suggestions, some colors that we can use that'll have good contrast. I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to copy this hex value by just selecting it and hitting Command C. Go back over to my artboard. I'm going to select my text with the selection tool, and I'm going to go back to my fill color over here, double click, and I'm going to hit Command V, and it's going to paste that color right in there. And now we've got some text on here that looks nice and stands out. So I'm going to give a shout out to the chat over here. I see lots of friends hanging out. Let me know if you guys have any questions. We are live here every day at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, so feel free to hop into the live chat and ask any questions. So today we're going to be making an album cover for my favorite artist, a chiptunes artist named Johan Turpin. So I'm going to put in Johan's name. I'm just going to type out Johan Turpin. And everything looks good in terms of contrast, but we need to find a good font, something that goes along with Johan's music. So I'm going to hop back over here to the other resource link I have for you, which is Adobe Fonts. And how I like to browse fonts on Adobe Fonts is go to the All Fonts here, and I am going to pick a category that I think would associate well with Johan's music. In this case, I think futuristic is going to work really well. And personally, I like to go over to the sort function and go to newest, and that's it's just, I like to see what's new. You know, I like to see what's hopping on Adobe Fonts. And I really, really like this pixel font. If you wanted to preview this, so I wanted to see what Johan's name looked like, I can go in here and actually type Johan Turpin, and you can see that it gives me a preview of his name in all these different fonts. So I'm going to just go in here, View Family, and I'm going to make sure that this is activated. Some of these might already be activated because I do like this font. And then we're going to go back to our file, and we're going to click on Johan's name here at the top, and we're going to go up to the character panel here, or we can go to the character panel in our properties window, and we can type out low res. That's the name of the font, and it's going to pull it for us. So I'm just going to choose low res regular here. Alright, so we've got Johan's name, it looks good. I also need to add the name of the album, so in this case I'm going to just hit Command C and Command F to paste in front. I'm going to select the text, and just got the selection tool going, and I'm just going to drag it up to the top. And then I'm going to double click to select all the text, and it's going to switch me to my text tool, and I'm going to type in rhythm. I'm going to spell it wrong, and somebody's going to correct me in the chat. So, rhythm, I think that, I don't know, someone will have to let me know. We're going to pick a, so we got the title and Johan's name, but the title needs to have a little bit more emphasis. So I'm going to pick bold for the title, and I'm going to make Johan's name a little bit smaller. So now we've got a little bit of hierarchy going on, both in terms of the style and in terms of the size. Thank you for somebody who's correcting my spelling. Thank you so much. I think I've got it right now. It's fine. Alright, so I've got the text written out here for the title and Johan's name, and they've got, you can use two different fonts here if you want to. I'm using the same font but using two different styles. So in that case, we've got a little bit of hierarchy going on. So we've got our text, and we need to add some fun artwork, some funky artwork that goes along with Johan's music. Like I said, feel free to pick your own artist or your own musician, or make your own band up, or your own band name, whatever you like, and you can make something that fits the personality of your musician. So I've gone over here, I should show you what I did there, and I clicked where the rectangle tool was, and I held down, and that's going to give me a sub menu. And down in the sub menu, we get all these different shape tools. I'm going to choose the ellipse, and I'm going to move my cursor with the ellipse selected towards approximately the center of the artboard. And when I do that, you're going to see that it's going to indicate for me where that is. And if I hold down Shift like it did before, it's going to draw a circle out that's constrained. If I hold down Alt or Option and Shift at the same time, it's going to draw a circle from that center point. So now we've got a circle in the middle of our shape here. Now I want to add some, I guess like some personality, some flair to this, something that kind of fits, like I said, Johan's music. So I have gone over here and I've selected the line segment tool, and I'm just going to, with it kind of snapped to the top there with my smart guides, I'm going to click, holding down Shift and drag across, and that's going to give me a line. Obviously I don't have a fill or anything on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select, using the eyedropper tool, the background color, and then I'm going to go back over here and clicking on these little arrows, I'm going to flip the fill and stroke. So now we've got a line that matches the background color. I'm going to use Command C and Command F to paste in front. I'm going to click on that line, holding down Shift. I'm going to drag until it's at the bottom of that circle. I'm going to go over to my stroke panel, either here or over here, and I'm going to increase the weight of this line to something pretty large, like 60. Alright, and then I'm going to select both of these lines, and I'm going to go up here to Object, Blend, and I'm going to hit Make, and that's going to make a blend. Now that's already pretty cool, right? Like it's got this sort of retro wave feel to it, but I want something that's a little less intense, not so many lines. So I'm going to go to Object, Blend Options, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. I'm going to go to Specified Steps, and I'm going to drop this down a lot, maybe something like 10, like in half. Alright, and that's pretty cool and all, but I'm going to open up my Layers panel down here. I just dragged it off so you could see it. And I'm going to lock this circle in the background because I don't want to actually edit this shape. I'm going to lock it there, and now I'm going to go over here, and where you've got the width tool in your toolbar, if you hold down on that icon, it's going to give you a bunch of different like distortion tools. So in this case, I'm going to pick Warp. You could play with any one of these that you want to, and it's going to have different effects. But I'm going to use the Warp here, and I'm going to make these kind of look like sound waves, like they have some motion to them. So I'm going to click and just kind of drag through, and as I do that, it's going to add these kind of like little hills in my shape here. If you wanted to change the amount of distortion, you can go up here to the Warp tool. I can double click and I can change the size. We can make it larger, like 200 by 200. And we can go over here and we can make the intensity larger and smaller. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's go like 20%. And as we drag, it's going to make larger distortions that are going to be a little bit shallower, if that makes sense. So now we've got this really funky kind of design on our album cover. Everything has good contrast because we used that the accessibility tools in Adobe Color. But if you did want to check your colors, one trick that I like to use a lot, if I'm like, I don't know if this is good contrast, just kind of like as a gut check, I will go to the selection tool over here, and I will click and I will drag to select everything on, you know, my artboard here, and I will go to Edit Colors, and I will choose Convert to Grayscale. I locked my layer. Okay, so you got to make sure to go up here to your Layers panel and unlock that circle in order for that to work. So once we've got that, I'm going to drag and select again, and I can go to Edit Colors, Convert to Grayscale. And this is just a really good way to check your values without looking at, you know, any of the colors. It kind of like flattens out the just lets you see the contrast. Anyways, we're gonna hit Command Z to undo that, and once we've got this going on, we could do a couple of things from here. We could start to play with some of the text if we wanted to style this a little bit differently. I know that you guys are a big fan of my avatar, so I've heard. So I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna hit Command C and Command F to paste my text in front, and I'm gonna just use the arrow keys, hitting up a couple of times, and I'm gonna hit over to the right a couple of times, and then I'm gonna change that color, and this color is gonna be like a bright, we'll do like a bright red or something. Let's go this way. There we go. And then I'm going to click on my text down here in the Layers panel. I'm going to drag it up so it's in front. And I'm going to copy and paste again, hitting Command C, Command V. And I'm going to, you can also drag. Like I can click this text, hold down Shift and, hold down Shift and drag, and it's going to drag it at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose a sort of like a cyan color. Just like that. And now I can go back to my purple text here, which is right in between these two, and I'm going to bring that on top. Another way you can do this is to just select that magenta text or cyan text, go to Object, Arrange, Send Backward, and it's going to send it slightly to the back. Now we're going to select our purple text and we're going to make that white. Just like that. And now we've got like a fun 3D anaglyph kind of style text going on. So Carol in our live chat is saying, are we in a time warp? Is old new again? Yeah, it has like a retro wave style to it, right? Fits with Johan's chiptune style music. So I'm gonna, just to have a little bit more fun here, I'm gonna select the circle tool again, and I am going to align my point to the center there. I'm gonna hit that Shift and Alt again, and I am going to drag, so I've got a large circle here. Now now that I have this circle selected, I'm going to go to the Direct Selection tool over here, and I am going to click on this bottom point here, and I'm just going to delete it. So now it's gone, goodbye. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on the pen tool, and I am going to click on the end point on the left. I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to just move until I get the little smart guides indicating that I've hit the end of the artboard. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to actually hold down Command Shift and A to deselect. And once I've done that, I'm going to go over to the other side and I'm going to click once I see that little like minus sign next to my anchor, my pen tool indicator there. I'm going to click. That's going to click on that anchor point, hold down Shift, and draw out to the end of the artboard. So now I've got this kind of weird shape, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. We're going to go over here and hit these arrows, and they're going to switch to a stroke instead of a fill. So now we've got this shape. I'm going to go back up to my Direct Selection tool here. I'm going to click on both of these points. So I'm going to click on one, and I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to click on the other one, and I'm going to use these live corners to round out the sides there. So we're going to get this really fun shape. And I might go here now, and with my selection tool, click on that shape, and we're just going to drag it down a little bit. Really like fit it to the shape here that we've got. And it's a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to go over here to my color here, and I'm going to pick, oh, you know what, let's hit cancel, and let's go to our eyedropper again, and we're going to click that fill color there. Switch it back to a stroke. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to hit Command C and Command F to paste in front, and I'm going to drag to the top of my artboard. Alright, so these are a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to make them just a little bit bigger so you can see what we've got going on, and we're going to make them like 5 point. I'm going to select that top one, and I'm just going to drag, and I'm going to make it flat. Great. So I'm going to then select that top one, holding down Shift, select the other one. I'm going to go up to Object, Blend, and I'm going to make another blend. We're going to go to Object, Blend, and we're going to go to Blend Options, and we're going to increase those steps. So we're going to get this really cool kind of like distorted space-time goodness happening. So we've got a nice kind of blend there. If you wanted to take this even further, we can go to our layers panel over here. We can open up that blend by tapping the arrow there, and it's going to give us our 2 lines. We're going to select the one that highlights the top line. I'm going to go up to opacity right here, and I'm going to drag it down to 0. So now it's got this like fade as well as the background or the blend shift between the 2 shapes. So now with that all selected, I need to kind of reshuffle my layout a little bit, because obviously we don't want to have our text and the blend going over top of our text, and we want to like try and get things that have a little bit better hierarchy, right? So I'm going to minimize that blend by hitting that arrow again. I am going to lock my background fill this time, and I'm going to select these two objects, the two blends and the circle, and I'm just going to bring them down just a little bit so that that blue text or that blue line doesn't overlap my text so much. Now I'm going to select my three text objects for my title there. I'm actually going to hit Command G to group them because it's going to make it easier for me to move. I'm going to select it in my layer and I'm going to bring it on top of everything. If I zoom in, you're going to see that's going to bring it over top of those wavy lines in the background. And there we go. I'm going to scale this down a little bit to fit into that space. Oh, nope. I got to select my circle and my blend. I'm going to grab that corner there and I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt to scale from the center. I'll bring it up a little bit. Just kind of like, I'm just at this point moving things into position how I kind of want them to. If we didn't want this kind of anaglyph 3D look, another option that we can do is I'm going to hit Command C and Command F. I'm going to go over here and hide this group. I'm going to delete those colors out so we've just got this. We can go up here to Object, or no, Type, Create Outlines, and we could also do a gradient on this text. So we can go over here. I'm going to pull out the gradient panel. We've already got some color stops, the black to white. I'm going to change the angle to be 90, and I can change this color to be something similar to what we've got in our artwork already. I'm going to click that menu to make sure we're on hue, saturation, and brightness. I want to use those options. I'm going to bring them all the way up. We're going to get close to our kind of a purpley color here. And there we go. Alright, zoom in here really quick. Whoop. Now what I can do is I can select all of this. I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to go to Path. I'm going to make, I'm going to go to Offset Path. I'm going to say 10 is okay, and now we're just going to flip that gradient. So now we've got this really cool kind of like beveled edge on our text. So we've got kind of two different options here for our text. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. When you're all ready to go and you're ready to export and you want to share it with everybody in our Discord, if you go and check the links again in the description below, we've got links to join the Creative Cloud communities, the Illustrator Discord, and that's where we're going to be sharing our work. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to choose Export, Export for Screens. We're using Export for Screens because we're working, we're going to be uploading to Discord, so we're all working in screens here, nothing for print. We're going to choose, I'm just going to choose my desktop here. And we're going to export a PNG. If you have something that you want to have transparency, you can go into these settings here, and you can select, instead of background color, transparent. White is fine in this case since we put a background fill, but if you wanted a transparent background, that's how we could do that. I'm going to hit Export. It's going to save out my file, and then I'm going to come over to my Discord. So this is where everybody's hanging out. You can post your work here to get feedback from our mentors and check out everybody's amazing work. Katarina's already got something uploaded here. I'm going to just kind of drag this in over top of Discord, and then we can upload it like so. Just like that. Now we can get some feedback on our work from all of the amazing folks in our community. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today for this typographic challenge in Illustrator. I can't wait to see the stuff that you guys create. I'm really looking forward to the different musicians and different bands you guys come up with. What did we go over today? We went over the type tool, we went over color contrast, we went over some hierarchy, and we created a couple of fun blends. We created a gradient. We did a lot of stuff. So we're live every day, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time at behance.net/Adobe Live. But stay right here, stay tuned to Behance for more live content, and don't forget to check the description for those links for your starter file and to all of the different communities. There's tons of good stuff. Just go check out the links. All right, bye everyone.